2, 1.
Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. 815.
All I'm saying, Tom, is, considering how big of a deal it was, it's really surprising that the moon landing is not a national holiday. What's up with that? I'm Greg. He's Tom. Today is the 20th day of January, the year 2024, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind. But something good did come out of that moon landing. We brought back rocks.
Dude,
yeah.
You can't get rocks everywhere. Well, wait a minute. Anyway,
yeah.
It was pretty.
Wouldn't that be something though? Wouldn't that be something if you got something on eBay? This is a rock and it was from the moon. I'm asking for $1 million. A moon rock.
My wife had moon rocks in her classroom numerous times teaching science when she was teaching science for 8th to 8th graders.
Really?
She had a sign for them. They were in like this attaché type case with the whole cuffs and everything. She had to protect them with her life.
Wow.
But she got to use them in her teaching a number of years.
So they do exist.
They do exist.
Like M&Ms.
We've got a packed show for you and the person still sleeping next to you. So give them a nudge, wake them up and say, hey, Greg's on and Tom's on. And we're going to start talking about some stuff today. We've got Rockford Rescue Mission with their big event coming up this week. And Nami at the National Alliance on Mental Illness, Northern Illinois chapter here, also has a big event coming up that we are going to be touching on the show today. But before we get there, we've got to do the big number of the week. And in our current race to 10, we've got a tie score. It's like a football game, 7-7. Ho, 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 ho. This
Two
is
touchdowns.
A race to 10. And this week's big number of the week is 3 billion. That's with a B, 3 billion. The answer is crayons or copies. Crayons or copies. Give us your take in the comments, in the chat. What do you think this number might be when it comes to crayons or when it comes to copies? Make a fun story up. That would be awesome. We would love to hear your little story about why you think 3 billion has to do something with crayons or something to do with copies. And we'll give you the answer before the end of the show and see if Tom or Joanne score any points this week. I do have some shout outs this week, but I'm going to get to them later because we want to get right to our guests. We don't often double book guests on the show, but today, look at what we did, Charmel. We booked more than one guest.
I'm good. We partner with Nami. That's cool.
You've got some echo going on, and that might be a problem. Do you have any headphones, Charmel?
I don't have any handy. I might if you hold on. Okay.
Your echo is going to be an issue if you don't.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on.
It's okay.
Right.
While she's doing that, just a reminder, some Packer talk. A little. Oh wow, this whole mirror thing drives me nuts. There we go.
I'm glad you
there
did
we
it,
go. What's that?
I'm glad you got the mirror thing solved because that looks a lot better.
Well, yeah. Well, it didn't matter on the other part. If I was wearing a hat with a logo or something like that, but you could see 815 in crowd. So, and you can see there. Beware of the dog. Cats are shifty too. And then of course, the 2 Packer logo here mugs. Oh well, and then of course,
at least for one more week, I've got the Packer banners up. I got the
and don't forget the winning trophy.
Tom's trivia trophy,
right,
which I have half of one.
You do.
I got half of one in your care.
Yeah.
So while Charmel's grabbing some headphones, just a real quick shout out from this last week. Want to say kudos and thanks to Derek Prado, Dr. Prado from Belvedere. He was our speaker, our presenter this week at GTTN, Growing Together Through Networking. We meet the first and third Wednesday for breakfast, the first and third Wednesday of the month at Machine Shed. So if you are looking for an exclusive networking group to be a part of, come and visit us and see if that's something that might fit you and what you do. Our group does not need a realtor. It has one. So if you're, there's that. But we are open to other professions that we aren't currently having represented in our group. And then grow your business with Emily Bisson on LinkedIn had another great Zoom meeting this week as well. And Emily, thank you so much for organizing that. All right, we've got headphones. Good morning, Charmel.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. And
can you hear me now? Okay. No echo. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? That'll never go out of style, will it? Can you hear me now? and then Paul, the guy from Verizon, went over to Sprint. He says, "You remember me? I used to be with that other company." Anyway.
He bailed out. So the Rockford Rescue Mission, most people that have been in Rockford for any length of time know what the Rockford Rescue Mission is. But for those who are brand new to our community, Charmel, what in the world is the Rockford Rescue Mission?
Okay, I'll start out with what it's not. We are not an animal shelter. Some people see the word rescue and they immediately think that. We do definitely rescue, but it's people. And we've been around for 64 years this year. Or 64. It was in 1964 that it started. So 60 years we're celebrating. It's been around a long time. And we are, one of the phrases they used to use was 3 hots and a cot. But it has graduated to much more than that. So we help people with...
Too.
Say that again.
I said, I've heard that used for jail, too. People commit crimes to get 3 hots and a cot. But anyway, it's the same thing. I get it.
Avoid jail.
Thing.
Yeah.
Go to a place that's going to be looking out for your overall well-being and get you back on your feet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I like to say we give handouts. Nothing costs a dime to anyone that comes to the rescue mission distance, either in our life recovery program to live with us up to a year and some an additional year, or coming for a meal or a pair of shoes. It doesn't anything. If we don't have it in our building, we have a thrift store where we sell to the public, and we're able to get that, or just email or call, and they will send something over, or we just go pick it up. We have staff that go back and forth all the time. So no one ever has to pay for anything that comes to the mission.
We get people back on their feet in a lot of different ways with the rescue mission. And I skipped a step, Charmel. So because you and I are so familiar with each other, we've known each other now for 34 years.
Something like
roughly 33, 34 years.
Has it been that long?
It's been about that long. It's been 30 years anyway. For people that don't know you, who are you? Did you grow up in the Northern Illinois area, and how did you get involved with the rescue mission?
Thank you. I am a Sobo. Woohoo! South Beloiter. I grew up in South Beloit and never really expected to go anywhere else. And since then, I've been all around the world doing mission trips through Kids Around the World and First Love International. And right here at home, the mission, Rockford Rescue Mission, is where I have found my calling. And heard about the mission when I was in radio, same time you were, Greg. We used to feature the Rockford Rescue Mission when there were events coming up. We'd have a guest, usually Randa Noble, lovely lady who is retired from the mission now, but she used to come on the radio and talk about what was coming up at the mission, and that kind of got me intrigued. And then I had a family member that actually was in the recovery program a couple different times, and that I always tell people, when you help one person, you've helped their family. You've helped your neighborhood. If they were in the criminal lifestyle or headed that way, you help so many people. We won't know until we get to heaven just how many people were influenced by one gift or one prayer. So
awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I didn't finish my statement earlier. I was going to say, we absolutely give handouts, and we offer a hand up. So we have way more than just giving those things out. We actually help people to become hopeful and set goals for themselves and help them walk through the steps of getting housing, getting jobs, getting education. We are a GED testing site. We do the preparation and the testing, all that right there in the building. And it's all about giving people hope.
I mean, the reasons why people end up at a place like the Rockford Rescue Mission are as many different stories as there are people, aren't there? You've probably heard it all.
Absolutely.
As far as why somebody found themselves in a place needing that hand up.
It's true. And we've had accomplished musicians. We've had teachers. We've had people, lots of people have mental health issues that would fall through the cracks otherwise. And so we're able to help people. Yes, all kinds of stories. Some people get caught up in alcohol through a grieving process. Someone says, hey, you're having trouble sleeping? Have a drink. It'll help you relax. Well, to start out with, it might, but it's a slippery slope. And we've had many people come to us that have come through that grieving process and have stumbled big time and gotten caught up. And so our program is long-term for life recovery. And that's because many of us can kind of pseudo start new habits within a couple weeks. We all know we're right into January here, right? Lots of us started that new habit right at the beginning, but it's really hard to sustain. And so we really do try to work holistically with people and help them to be totally, we move them toward wholeness, personal and spiritual.
Yeah, I think it's this Monday.
Yeah,
I think it's this Monday, Tom, that the New Year's resolutions fall off for most people. So be careful. If you can get past this Monday, you've really accomplished something. Keep going.
Mine fell off at 8:35 a.m. on New Year's Day. But anyway, I was going to say, before you condemn somebody for going to the rescue mission, for having an issue, an addiction or anything, walk a mile in their shoes. And I mean, literally, you don't know what people go through.
That's right.
Stop with the, well, what's wrong with you? What happened to you? What did you do wrong? Stop that, because that's just a life lesson.
I love to give tours of the mission and help people to just walk through and see what all is offered. And when people come in to volunteer, we use people volunteering. We serve 3 meals a day, every day. So we use volunteers all the time. And one of the most common phrases from me is, look someone in the eye and give them a compliment. Or just say hello. You don't get that on the street generally. You compliment someone's hat, they may think you want it. So you gotta be really cautious out on the street, rightfully so. And but in-house, we encourage people to look someone in the eye and smile. And that's what we're about, is helping people to feel valuable and give them hope.
Yeah,
having that
that's
safe
the one thing
space.
they lack is hope.
Yeah.
Safe
space, safe place. It's so important. So the big event that's coming up this Thursday night is the annual fundraiser telethon, and we're going to put this big on the screen here. The Evening of Hope, which is 20. Look at that, Tom. 26th annual meeting, Evening for Hope. I knew you guys have been doing this for a number of years, but it's hard to believe it's been 26 years already. Back in 1999.
Okay.
Was it 9 or 2? Well, I actually co-hosted one year with Alan Jones. They had me down at the rescue, and I was terrible at it. I was not good on camera. I don't know. Yeah.
I've always told people radio's way easier. Now these podcasts come out and you got to look at me now and we're stuck, but radio's way easier, I think.
I was given a little jeering from, Alan Jones and another on-air people about my cheat sheet, because I had my little cheat sheet there the whole time, and I was always looking at that when I was on the air. And I'm like, look, dude, you got a teleprompter, so don't even. Just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Well, we use paper notes, and Candice King and Eric Wilson on Channel 17, they will be hosting along with myself. And yeah, we all have our cheat sheets right there in front of us. So you're in good company. No problem.
Well, we've got to.
Well, I was going to say, just the thing of how times have changed. When I watch ESPN, NFL Network, whatever, some of the hosts, they're doing real-time stuff. They're holding up their phone going, okay, I've just got a text from the GM from such and such, and he is saying blah, 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 blah. They've got their phones in their hands. So times have really changed, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm really looking forward to it. I was able to help host the program back in 17 and 18. So I get to be back on there, and I'm really excited because I mentioned earlier, I give tours and help out with volunteers, and I just love connecting with people and helping people to connect with the mission. You know, sometimes I say, the mission's kind of like the hospital. You don't want to go there unless you have to, but you're glad it's there. And, but the ways that people can help at the mission, it's just innumerable. Use your own imagination. What kind of things could they use? How can I give of my own talents? And financially, that's huge. The mission, this is our largest fundraiser. We actually, our goal is $125,000, and our budget started honestly with a man with a passion to start the mission. He had $9.63. That's how the mission started. And now the budget is over $7 million. And guess what? It's all through donations. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Our Rockford area, yep. And we have people that have been here and have moved away and still continue to give because they were blessed, or someone in their family was blessed in some way. And they know that that's how it's sustained, is through individual organizations, churches, groups, donations.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Well, when you find an organization that you can trust them with your investments, you tend to stick with them. So the
That's
years and years of rescue mission service to our area has been unequaled. I mean, really, when you think about it. So it's really cool to see what the mission has been able to do over the years, and to strengthen our community and help make it a better place.
Yeah, yes, sir. And we are very transparent in our finances. You can ask to look at the pie charts. We've got it on all of our information we give out, and we go through stringent audits on a regular basis. Just passed through another one just this last week, and we get high marks for that. It's wonderful. It's a very, very transparent, I guess is the word, organization. Right. And you can come in anytime. Call me. Come in. We will show you around. Our CEO, Sherry Pitney, has been there. She's the longest running employee. She's been on staff for 41 years now. And she gives a tour once a month, but we also do custom tours. But you can call and ask to get in on her tour. It's always the fourth Wednesday, 11 to 1, we ask you to block off, and we get a box lunch with that. And you can ask questions right then and there and find out, get some inspiration while you're walking around the building. It actually takes a little over an hour to get through all the different sections of the building and all the ways that people are helped here. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Very nice. Well, the event, the telethon, is this Thursday night, 7 to 9?
7 to 9, and it's fast. It's a fast 2 hours. No commercials.
No commercials.
No commercials. And
tune in, check it out.
It'll be stories, videos. You want to put a face to the numbers. That's my job, is helping people to realize these are real people. These are people's brothers, and they're even grandmas that are coming for help at the mission, and little ones. And so to put a face to that, and to hear voices, and to hear the hope that people offer. And if you know someone that you think maybe needs to come in to get some help, maybe they'll sit and watch that with you. You know, there's no connection, there's no what am I trying to say? You don't have to be there. You could just check it out on TV, you know, and see if it's something that they might, you know, maybe they'll get spurred on to come and reach out, to come and get some help. And we're there. We have crisis center for sure. We are a warming center. We're open 24/7. We did have to cap off our those that can sleep with us just for safety. We are low on staff numbers, and so we have a lot of people. We still have over 150 people staying overnight every night in the mission. Wow. So, you know, if you ever think about what they need, well, think about your own house. If you had a bunch of guests overnight, what kind of things would you need? And you can send those gifts, or you could send finances and we can buy them.
Awesome. Well, tune in Thursday night, 7 to 9, get all the stories. And there's a QR code here on our screen that you can donate to very easily. Every donation helps. It does not have to be some grandiose, huge dollar figure that you're giving. Every little bit helps. So
it's true. We still get
please consider
a couple bucks in an envelope. We still get that. You know, some people say you shouldn't send cash in the mail. Well, you know, it works.
You shouldn't, but you know,
we'll take it.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to the telethon here on Thursday nights. And at this time, we're going to bring on our second guest, which is part of Nami, the executive director of Nami, and that's Danielle Angeleri. Good morning to you, Danielle. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for coming on and joining us today. I'm going to find the right screen that works best for us here, because if I go this way, Charmel's face is really
I'll back
huge.
off.
Awesome. Well, we've been with the new show here, with the new season, new year. We've been doing some Tom's trivia every show, and Tom's got some stuff for us to see what we know about what Tom knows, because Tom knows everything. So Tom,
oh wow,
I only know everything because I got it on the page right here. All right, so I'm just simply going to ask you 3 questions. The way you answer is you just simply answer. You don't have to say your name or whatever. You can all just say, you can say, well, I agree with that answer. I'm going with that answer. It's fine. It's completely fine. So here we go. And your categories are capitals, as in capital cities, civil rights leaders, and toys. These are your 3 categories. Here you go. No tiebreakers. If you all score 3, you're good. You all get the winning trophy. I'm going to run out of trophies. There you go.
Oh my!
Good thing you buy those in bulk.
Absolutely, yeah. You can buy them in bulk. They're like $1.50 at Party City for 8 of them. Okay, all right. Apologies. I've been fighting a cold for a while. Okay, real professional, Tom. Here we go. Capitals. How many U.S. state capital names begin with the letter A? Before you freak out, I'm going to give you 2 options. Is it 3 or is it 5? You do not have to name the state capitals. Once again, how many U.S. state capital names begin with the letter A? A as in apple. Is it 3 or is it 5? You can take some time. Take 30 seconds if you need to. We're going to have talk amongst ourselves. Yeah. Actually, Greg, you can you can guess too.
I was going to say I can't think that there would be 5 of them, so I would guess 3.
That's what I'm guessing too. I'm guessing 3.
There's
all right.
To think that all 50 states, that 10% of them have a capital starting with the letter A would just be kind of outrageous. But maybe I don't know. I would guess 3.
All right. So you got Austin, Texas.
Oh
Atlanta, New York, yeah.
Atlanta,
Albany, New York.
Albany.
And Annapolis, Maryland, and Augusta, Maine.
Okay.
All right. So you know what? So for now, this trophy stays with me. I should have sound effects. No, I'm just messing with
I don't have a wrong answer number.
Okay,
yeah.
so real quick, you know that scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where he slams his pen down and he goes, "You lose, you get nothing." I played that at trivia one night, and it wasn't well received. It was for the last place game. I played "You lose." They actually thought it was cute because they were fun loving. Some of the other people, I was like, "Whoa, that was kind of rude." I know it was. So I tried it again the following week. No, I'm kidding. All right, here we go. Question number 2, civil rights leaders. What was Martin Luther King Jr.'s given name at birth? In other words, his first name. What was his first name when he was born?
I just read that.
So,
did you really?
Okay, so
I did.
This isn't a trick question. It wasn't actually Martin.
Okay, it was not a trick question. No, that's a good question though on your part, because there are a lot of trivia hosts that will do that. Oh, it was Martin.
I think that's the thing. You got to keep people honest, and that doesn't hurt my feelings if you do something like that.
No, I don't like it because it's like I've had instructors in college that would give you those trick questions, and it was like, wait a minute, I could have had an A instead of got a B plus. I could have had an A. One more question right. I don't like it. Anyway.
Okay. I don't know. I have a guess in my head, but you ladies have a guess.
Is this where you give us the
I
multiple
will
choice?
give you a hint. It also does start with an M.
Is it Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there goes my guess. I was going to guess Keith.
So Danielle guessed Mark.
Yeah.
No, Marvin.
Oh, Marvin.
Marvin's a really good
that was
guess.
You know, that's a really good guess. It's not true, but and I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, Charmel,
I'm going to say Matthew, but I know it's not it. I can't think of it. I just read it.
Basketball player of all time.
Michael.
Mickey.
Mickey.
Oh, Michael. I was thinking baseball.
Wrong sport.
I love it. Yeah, Michael. Michael King.
Michael's mom probably called him Mickey. Okay, I'm gonna go with that.
He could have. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Half a point
Good
for
point.
Charmel.
You get half a trophy, and I don't know where it is. It's on the floor somewhere, and I think I stepped on it, so it's like a
So I get the half.
trophy. Yeah. I now have a Band-Aid on my toe.
All
right. Final question.
Last one.
Toys.
Are you barefoot?
Name the first. No, I'm kidding. I am wearing a Packer jacket thing, a Packer hat, and Packer sweatpants. I'm all Packered out. Plus, I've got my Packer cups here. Whatever. Go Packers. Guess what team I root for? All right, so toys. Here we go. Toys. Name the first ever toy to be advertised on national television.
Ooh.
Barbie.
Ooh.
You're
thinking Barbie. I'm thinking
had to be way back. Yeah. Barbie's actually came out the year I was born in the late 50s.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. And so, Danielle, I'm going to give you another chance to answer again. It was 1952. That's when it was advertised.
Ooh.
I should have probably said that. So, and that's only fair. So, Danielle, you get a mulligan there. You get to, and thank Charmel for that. And Charmel, you were correct. It came out in, I believe, 59, Barbie.
59, that's it.
59. Yeah.
It's on every one of them. It's stamped on their behinds.
Oh, really? I would have thought it said pink.
Let's see here.
Well, I was thinking Lincoln Logs. That's
that would be a good one. Yeah.
Old enough.
Toy. 52. I'm going to say Easy Bake Oven, but I know that came way later.
All right. So, Gregors, you're going with Lincoln Logs? Danielle?
Yeah.
How about one of those like spinning tops? You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Those are all very good guesses. And I'm going to give you a hint. In the movie Toy Story, he said he was wishing for something coming out of an egg. Nope. He said, Mrs. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head is the answer. Mr. Potato Head. All right.
Mr.
All right.
Potato
I
Head.
am so sad that I have to retain the trophy today. I'm so sorry. I will make them easier next time. That doesn't do you two very well.
Nobody's going to recruit us for their team.
No,
basically.
Those were sort of tough questions. maybe I've been doing this too long, and I expect that everybody just kind of knows all these random things. So I apologize for that. You all get okay, you get a participation trophy. How's that? I don't have any ninth place ribbon, so here you go. Participation trophy.
Nope. No participation trophy. Charmel, best to you on Thursday as you co-host the big telethon again.
Thank you.
Hope it all goes well, and I hope you guys exceed your goal.
And could I mention once again, it's on Channel 17, WTVO, 7 to 9. Also on Facebook Live for those that don't get TV for all different reasons. I know Channel 17, there was some kind of network thing and all that, change up. So just to let people know, you can also pick it up on Facebook Live all around the world. Check us out.
Well, that is
Awesome.
so cool.
Awesome.
Bless
Well,
you.
good luck.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
Charmy.
guys.
Keep doing
We'll
our
catch up
prayers
with you
over
later.
that. So
Bless you. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, switching gears and
All right.
throwing this screen up right here. Nami, National Alliance on Mental Illness, the Northern Illinois chapter, is led by the wonderful, beautiful, talented Danielle Angeleri, who joins us. I think this is your second or third time on our show. I know you're on with us since we become a podcast. I can't remember if you were on with us when we were just on the radio side of things, but welcome
Thank
back.
you. I don't know if I was on the radio side.
I don't
here's a
recall.
funny story.
that you
When
were.
Danielle and I met at Park Lanes for the introduction process of doing the trivia event for Nami, she said, I don't know if you remember, I was on with you guys. I'm like, oh goodness, now I made the connection. The funny thing is, I first met her at trivia. She played at Scanlon's for a year, probably at least.
Yes.
And it's like it was a time and a place. I just didn't make that brain connection. But then as soon as she said it, I'm like, oh dear God, of course. I knew that. Anyway, it was just kind of funny.
Well, Nami has been around for a while now, but in Northern Illinois, how long has there been a chapter
It's our
here?
40th birthday this year.
Wow.
40th year. Okay. And a little bit about yourself for people that don't know who Danielle is. Did you grow up in the area? Where are you from? And how did you find yourself involved with Nami?
Yep, born and raised Rockford girl. I did go to Milwaukee for a short amount of time. Still not a Packers fan. Sorry, boys.
Oh man.
I did study psychology in school. I've always been very interested in mental health, behavioral health, why people do the things that they do. I've, just navigating my own mental health growing up, and also like witnessing what mental illness might do to a person, to a family, to a community.
Mm-hmm.
It's always just been of interest to me. And I did end up finding, upon coming home from college, just kind of a more coordinator role with Nami. And I have been here ever since, and it's been almost 8 years this year also. And just, not wanting people to ever feel alone in their journey, because I know mental health conditions can be very isolating.
That's a huge point right there, isn't it? It can be very isolating to think that you're the only one suffering from this little thing, because obviously we're all very individualistic. We're all each person has its own. We've all experienced our own things because no one else has walked 53 years in my shoes, so they can't know exactly all the experiences I've had. I can't expect you to know everything about me, and to find out that there are others at least struggling similarly to you, that's got to be a part of a big relief.
Right. And I think that's one of the most unique things about Nami. It's not as clinical. It's all like the peer. So it's either people living with their own conditions, family members in those caregiving roles, just wrapping their support around one another and like, hey, this is what, worked for me on my journey. Like, we can try these things together. We can walk alongside you to support you. And I think really that's the goal.
I have so many, we'd need 4 hours to go through all of what I have to say, but my brother, God rest his soul, he became a really, really, really good person his last 10 years, but he struggled mightily with drugs early on, and then the mental health issues that came by with it. What you just said made so much sense. You said isolated, and he did feel isolated because everybody was afraid of him. We were afraid of him because we didn't know how to deal with him, what he was going through. He would fly off the handle, all of these different types of things. And I think that's the thing. Don't be afraid to grab somebody by the hand and say, listen, let me help you. give them a big hug, do whatever you have to do to reel them back in and let them know they're loved. And I think that's the takeaway that I get from my own experience with my brother and maybe from Nami. I don't know if that's exactly what you guys are all about, but I think you are. Just being there for people.
Certainly. Yeah, we really started as that family support model. So it actually started in Madison, Wisconsin by two mothers. They both had adult children with schizophrenia, and like their kids were blamed for having the illness. The illness is still kind of pretty misunderstood, I believe. And like there were few treatment options, and they found all these families going through similar situations and really started supporting one another. But now it's really grown into, peer support as well, peer education, we do a lot of advocacy work, whether that's legislatively or personally. So
awesome. I'm scrolling through your website here, and I know that you've got so many different resources. You have groups aimed at teens, for adults. What have you been seeing here, I guess, in the last couple of years? I know we could go at a huge deep dive into what COVID did to our overall mental health, but we probably don't want to go there. I guess, generally speaking, though, what has Nami experienced here these last couple of years in helping people through what we might see in Northern Illinois?
So I would say, mental health conditions don't really necessarily let up. Like crisis doesn't stop. So I feel like it's been pretty static through all of this. I notice more people reaching out just for someone to listen, which is a part of what we offer. But also since last year at this time, we've served over 215 individuals and families, just helping with that system navigation, and many others just listening over the phone or our support groups. Since COVID, in-person groups have been harder to grow, but our peer support for adults is getting maybe 12 to 15 people every Wednesday night, whether that's virtual or in person. I mean, I think that shows the need just to be around one another and to relate and to kind of go through it together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think once one person steps up and says, yeah, I've been going to Nami, I've had some issues. Another person says, you know what, me too, let's go. I'll go with you, and I'll go with you, and I'll go with you. And all of a sudden 2 becomes 8 and 8 becomes 16. And I think that's important too, for people to maybe humble themselves and say, I really do need help. I think that's a real important part of it. How do you get to that point with people?
You mean just them coming in for the first time?
Yeah, getting them to put down the walls, and maybe humble themselves a little bit. Because the first step of any kind of recovery is, and this is what I've learned throughout the years of living with an addict and this and that, the first step is you have to admit yourself that you need help. If you can't admit you need help, nobody on the outside can help you.
Well, sometimes, there's a symptom of more serious mental illness where there is no insight into the illness. You're the last one to know. So I think just continuing to build that trust, extending the olive branch, be like, hey, I'm here for you. I know maybe you don't want it right now, but I'm going to continue to check in with you. And one small step at a time, right? It's still a step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Keep inviting, right? Yeah. Keep inviting, keep the communications open. And that might be the toughest thing for a family member who knows someone that they love and care for deeply, is just not being receptive to the help that they feel that is really, really needed.
And I think just humanizing mental health conditions. I mean, they're so far more common than people want to believe. So.
Yeah. I think that's, maybe you can confirm this with me or not. It seems to me, especially these last few years, that the general public has opened up their minds to the understanding that everyone has their own little mental illnesses, their own little quirks, their own little things to overcome. For some of us, it's tiny things. For some of it's very huge things, and we're all different in betweens. So it seems to me there's a greater acceptance of the ideas of the fact that we all have something to overcome in our heads.
Right. I mean, we all have mental health. We might all not be diagnosed with a mental illness, but we all have to take care of our brain as a part of our body. Mm-hmm. And it is our physical health as well. So it's all tied together.
Right. Well, Tom, I believe you guys have a event coming up that you're involved in. So what is that all
We
about?
are doing trivia. Danielle, actually, if you want to give the dates, I know it's February 29th, leap year day. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
We have an
Go
extra
ahead.
day, so we wanted to add something to it this year,
Yeah.
right?
You know what? I've got frogs. As you well know, I don't know if Danielle, if you know this, but I have a whole bunch of teddy bears, stuffed animals, whatever. Just bought a frog yesterday. We're going to have some frogs at this trivia event just for show. And maybe you can take one home. I don't know. Whatever. I don't like to part with my stuffed animals. That's just me. But anyway, it's leap year day, February 29th, and it's at Park Lanes. And as far as the cost, you can handle that one, Danielle, because we were
Okay.
kind of talking about it. You take care of that part of it. But as far as the trivia, I am going to ask, I think we decided on 36 questions, 10 general questions, 10 music questions, and then 5, 5, 5, and then a bonus question. It'll probably take hour and a half. If that was, did we discuss an hour and a half, an hour and a half? I can't remember.
I think we wanted to make it longer with a Nami round.
Well, yeah, there will be a Nami round, and it'll be about frogs and about Nami and about this and that, or maybe we'll even have a frog round. So we might just do 40 questions, which will put us right at about 2 hours. I mean, what the heck? That's what we're there for, right? It's a fundraiser. We're going to have fun. There's going to be giveaways, prizes. We'll have a candy jar. You guess the amount of candy in there, and then you win the jar, and maybe you win a gift card or something. We haven't really ironed out all the details yet. That's Danielle, you and I will get together at Park Lanes again and discuss it. But anyway, it will be a lot of fun. And keep in mind, you're going there to support Nami, a very, very worthwhile cause and a much needed cause. You're going there to support Nami. So if you go there and you bomb and you get like 6 questions out of 40, so be it. So what? You had fun, and because I guarantee you it'll be fun. And you supported a really, really good cause. So think about it that way. If you're going there to win, God bless you. I hope you do. I'll give you one of these little tiny baby trophies. You can't see it. Oh, there you go. I'll give you one of these little trophies if you win. That's worth going for right there. So that's my end of it. If you want to talk about
Well, let's build on that by saying the money that's raised at trivia night specifically really is going to help what, Danielle? Where is that going to go?
So it goes directly into our support education advocacy programs, really throughout the Northern Illinois region. So we have I feel like because our office is located in Rockford, Winnebago County area, we have a pretty heavy presence here. But in reality, we serve Boone, Winnebago, and Stevenson County as well. So just expanding those services.
That was actually one of my questions. Well, how many counties do you serve? So thank you for that.
Yes.
Now, Park Lanes is the bigger bowling alley on North 2nd
Right.
Street, correct? Because there's another
Park Bowl.
Park Lanes.
It's Park Bowl.
Okay, okay, there we go. I know I've been to both
Yeah.
before, but there's a bigger one where you've got a lot of area and space, but to do something like this, and there's a smaller one that there would be no room for an event
Right.
like this. So it's fun to bowl at both, but this is the big Park Lanes, 5318 North 2nd Street in Loves Park. You probably want people to sign up prior so you can have everything prepared for your event.
There is an Eventbrite link on that page that you just had pulled up.
Okay, so look for the Eventbrite.
For my
link.
purposes, I need to know how much material I need to bring. Like if we're going to have 15 teams, I'm going to bring 20 score sheets, so that I will have enough. So that if we do get an extra, wow. So if we do, and let me punch all that.
Sorry about that. I'm going to put the smaller link in there too, because that's the Eventbrite link that went crazy big.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will be prepared if we get extras, so that's not a problem. So I kind of would like to have a good idea of how many we're going to have. Now, Park Lanes is a big facility. What did we discuss, Danielle? We could probably fit 120 somewhat comfortably, which is
Absolutely.
8 teams of 10 teams of 8 is 80. So what is that? Another that's 12 teams. Am I right on that?
Mhm.
8 times 4 is 32. That's 112. So so
never do bad math while you're on the air.
yeah,
a
that's
bad
true.
idea.
So 13 tables of 8 would be 120. And I think that's really pushing it. In fact, we'll have to check with Kurt and find out what the fire code is, but I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it is. So we'll import some tables. If you've been to Park Lane, specifically, the bar is called
Shooters.
It's not Shooters. That's isn't that
No?
Park? Isn't that Don Carter?
Maybe
It's called
you're
Spare something.
Splitters?
Splitters. I believe that's what it is. Okay. Well, anyway, if you've been there, you know it's pretty big. It's wide. It's big. There will be prizes and everything else. There'll be plenty of room for everybody. But knowing the numbers ahead of time will help.
I was going to say, we wanted to open the doors too a little early just for people to come get dinner. So
Absolutely,
trivia won't start until about 6 or so. So you'll have about an hour or so before to eat and drink.
Tom's right. It is
Okay.
Splitters.
Right, Tom, thank you.
Good call.
And then we are doing
Awesome.
150 per team, a max of 8 people. But we're also, if you can't create a team, we're doing $20 a person, and we'll help you create a team beforehand.
There you go.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. Well, what better thing extra day of this year, leap day of this year, than
That's right.
to
Leap
go
into
and
trivia.
support this cause?
Come learn about frogs.
That's right. No, I think it's great. It's such a it's like a double meaning. We're here to help Nami, but we're also here to celebrate frogs and have trivia and all that. It's going to be an epic night. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
What did
That's
you say,
awesome.
Tom? Phenomenal.
That's right. Phenomenal.
Ooh.
That's right.
I like it.
Phenomenal.
As a parting question to you, Danielle, is there a question that you wish people asked you about your organization that they don't seem to ask? Is there something that you would like to make sure to emphasize here today before we let you go?
Something I wish people would ask.
Yeah. I heard that question this week and I thought that's a really good ending question for interviews is, we often have people on the show and I usually just wrap up the interview by saying, is there anything that we missed that you wanted to make sure we touch on? And that's true. Just go that direction if you want, but phrasing it in that way, I thought was kind of interesting way to make you think about it. Is there a question you wish people would ask you, or is there a misconception about your organization, or is there just something that you kind of wish you had more opportunity to talk about, Nami, that you don't normally get a chance to talk about?
I would say maybe there's more of a misconception about all the different programs we have, just because there's a bunch of different ones. So maybe a misunderstanding of all the things that we do. So, but I think we touched on a large majority of them today.
Okay.
Support, education, advocacy. With the blessing of the mental health board here in town, we got the ability to hire 2 new staff, and then we hired an additional one this year. So we have 2 recovery support specialists on staff, and then a mental health advocate. Those are where a lot of the direct service comes in now. So that system navigation. But again, plentiful groups, workshops. We go out to anywhere that will have us to educate families, educate individuals. So we're here.
Well, we've got the link in the chat, so you can check out the link to their direct web page and then also the link to the event page. So if you can join them on February 29th over at Splitters there at Park Lanes, you'll have a good time there. So sign up your team or sign up as an individual and be put on a team. Should be a fun night of trivia. Tom always makes things fun too. He knows what he's doing when it comes to trivia. That's for darn sure.
Mm-hmm.
He might not have his Packers facts straight, but he had.
What?
I'm just kidding.
I called last week's victory. And by the way,
I know.
around everybody for some more Packer talk after
We'll
this
have
part
some
of the
Packer
show.
talk.
Packer.
All right, Danielle. Hope to see you again soon, and best of luck on your event.
Thank you.
Hi, Danielle. I'll
All
see
right.
you soon. I'll get a hold of you, and we'll do a final get together and hammer everything out. Okay?
Sounds good. Have a good
All
day,
right.
guys.
Thank you. There goes Danielle, the executive director of the Northern Illinois chapter of NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness.
You know, Greg, we just had 2 of the nicest people in the history of mankind on.
I know, right?
Joanne, you got big shoes to
Beautiful
fill.
day.
You're a nice person too. You are an awesome person. So let's say we have 3 of the best people on. Of course,
We
you're not
are-
yet. You're part of
We
the
are
show.
a couple of really blessed guys. We get to spend
We
some
are.
time with some
We are.
great people. And a large part of that is because of this show. Thanks for everyone's support and sharing
Yeah.
and liking and reviewing and all that fun stuff. What do they say now? Rate, review, and follow or whatever on Spotify, please, because that really does help a lot.
And by the way, I was going to wait until I was going to text you later, whatever. I wanted to give you a compliment on a couple of things. Well, number one, the show, I love it. I love the new format, the in-crowd 815 in-crowd. I love the blue on here. It's a simple thing, but it's easy for me to read because there's a real contrast. The darker blue, the lighter blue was tough for me. The darker blue, it's like, whoa, I can see it. I can see it.
It was.
And, and I really, really like where it's going. It's a lot of fun. So.
Well, Fur Ball is something Tom and I are going to be at with our lovely spouses. And Joanne, looking forward to dancing with you at the Fur Ball and bidding on all these auction items and having a great time at Tabala Event Center on February 17th, a Saturday night. Cocktails, silent auction, dinner, dancing, 50-50 raffle, wine pull, music, dancing. All this stuff is happening February 17th, and there's still time to get tickets for that.
Sounds great. I don't have to say a word.
Yeah.
Greg has just covered it all.
Well, there's all
Greg,
the details.
If you just give us a tour of Pause, then Joanne's job is completely done.
Yeah, where are you, Tom or Greg? Take your camera around and show the cats.
Right.
One thing I wanted to say,
cats.
we're still looking. I feel dark compared to the rest of you. I don't know. I don't have good lighting. Still looking for donations for the silent auction. So people, if you have anything that you want to donate, I'm kind of gone around. I give these papers to people and they get kind of, huh? So.
Yes, and you haven't made your donation yet to Pause. Swing it on by Pause headquarters.
For Greg's wine rack.
I know, and I think I still have one or two left here, so I should be able to donate one of those again this year.
I promised them one, so. I said, I have to make a list. My goal, what is it? My job as a volunteer is I have to make a list of where I'm going and who I'm soliciting. Is that the right word?
Yep. Who you need to hit up that you haven't heard from yet this year, and you got time. I mean, today's the 20th, so we're just under a month away.
1st is our deadline for collecting things.
Okay. Well, besides Fur Ball, February 17th, do we have
a picture already of 2 cats?
Oh,
that have kind of a sad glad story, if you want to call it that. They were found trying to survive outside in the cold. So they named them in an apartment complex. They named them Miles and Mila because they have many miles to go before they find a forever home, maybe. But there's the picture of them all comfy and cozy in the bed. Is just so adorable. From freezing outside to a warm, comfy bed at Pause. So
nice. All right. Well, we'll share their picture here after the show and get that up on our In Crowd 815 podcast Facebook page and our Instagram feed.
Tour. Well, let me see if I have my tour button on.
I do want to mention that for those who aren't following us yet on Instagram, check out In Crowd 815 on Instagram, and I think the show feed, the live feed, is actually working fairly decent again. So it might be worth following on Instagram. But the comments, we need to see comments. We need to see comments on the Facebook page and on the LinkedIn stream and the YouTube stream. That's where I know we're going to still get our comments. All right, well, hold on a second. Let me get that.
January 20th. I don't know. There's quite a shadow on there.
Yeah, there is.
The sun is shining. We should be happy about that.
Yes, get some sunshine.
But no dogs yet this month, although I hear we have two meetings today. So maybe next week we'll have 2 on there. But yeah, right now, no dogs. And the cats are, despite the cold, we've been adopting cats. And then last month was 39 cats and 7 dogs.
Good month.
And then here are the cats that we are featuring. those frozen little bodies,
Oh.
Miles and Mila. Miles is the orange tabby,
No.
and they were found out in the shivering cold. They
Brr.
were outside in the brutal cold and feel so lucky to be warm, safe at pause. So there they are.
I wish
Miles
people
and
had
Miles.
a little more sense about themselves. If you don't want to be out in the cold, neither does your cat or dog. Think about it, people.
I know.
I have a problem
no.
with one of my dogs. She has decided it's too cold to be outside, so what she does is she goes under the deck.
Uh-oh.
And then
Well.
I have to go under and drag her out from under the deck.
Well, it's still cold under the deck, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Well, it's a little more protective. I don't know. I didn't ask her what the deal is.
You get out of the wind. I mean, there's that, but still, it's cold.
Yeah.
I didn't say
Brr.
she had brains.
Put a piece of sausage on a string and keep pulling it back and back and back until she comes out.
She will finally come out. I think these were found in an alley. Look at this fluffy black cat, though.
Goodness. He's wonderful.
Cute. Very cute.
The one is a Siamese, but she's got some, like a weird spot on her back. Like usually Siamese don't have extra coloring. But yeah, they were all found in an alley. What's the story? Butt bumping the volunteer there. Yeah, doing the bump, bump, bump. Is that a song we can sing on the air too?
Cat's got a theme song.
Yeah, doing the bump. Here's our basket starting for fur ball. Your donation will also help. So kind of always piling up.
Hello, hello. And thanks to the volunteers who organize all that stuff and make it all look beautiful for the event. It's a lot of work.
I'm in the back room. I saw a kitty that needed to be seen. Hi. Oh, this one looks kind of cross-eyed. This is like Martin Luther King, right? Henry Oliver. Why did Martin Luther King drop his first name?
Good question. Maybe Martin just sounds more formal than Michael.
Michael Martin, was his name Michael Martin Luther King?
No. It was Michael King. I don't know what his middle name was, but he did it because he wanted, his dad is the one who changed his name and then changed, they changed him at the same time after Michael King, Martin Luther King, was born, because he wanted to reflect Martin Luther, the religious leader of contemporary religious leader of the 1500s.
I am Lutheran, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know that.
I thought you'd said something about that a long time ago. So anyway, so it was an homage, I guess, to Martin Luther.
Oh, but his name was
reformer.
Michael.
No,
Luther.
just it was Michael King. I don't know. His middle name could have been Thomas or George or whatever. I don't think it was Michael Luther King. He changed it to Martin Luther.
Michael King, and they changed it to
Martin Luther King.
Oh, here's our wall of fame or shame. These are all our adoptable animals.
The available ones.
Yes, and here is Jane, my famous under the deck dog.
Oh, jeez.
She's not a fan of the cold.
No.
Other than that, a delightful dog.
She is from the South. So, that could be the reasoning. I don't know. Then I'm going to show you these 3 cherubs, and then the tour will be over. These are like, they're in the...
look at that.
Wow,
Come on.
triplets.
They're in the, the sick bay. Yeah, I was going to call the health bay, but I guess it's the sick bay.
The recovering area.
The infirmary.
There you go.
Sometimes they lock us out of here, but they're like dying to have some attention.
Yes, they
Oh.
are.
I could crawl in the cage with them, I would.
They're ready to be your best friend. So check them out over there at Pause HQ.
I don't think they're quite ready to be adopted yet.
Okay.
But look at, I'm reaching for love.
Oh,
I just
wow.
look for love in all the wrong places.
Well, check out pausehs.org for more information about these and all the others that are available over there at pausehs.org. Thank you. Good job, Joanne. And the event again is February 17th. We are right
It's our
there,
big
less than a
event,
month
so-
away. Excited about the fur ball.
Still time to buy tickets.
Always a
And
fun
it's a fun event.
time. Awesome. All right,
It's
Tom.
Are you done with me?
I think we still have our big number of the week to do, and then Tom and I are going to talk some Packers football.
What about our 3 trivia questions?
You want to do that? We can do the trivia questions here real quick too. Tom's got the trivia for us.
Well, I already answered, Michael.
Well, that was the other set of trivia. I'll go through these really quick, like.
I hate this mirror thing.
So,
all right, you ready?
All right, let's do
and
it.
I chose a couple of these because we're all of a certain age. Greg, you're actually the youngest of the group here. So here we go. First one. In the early 1970s, this commercial is still recognizable today. It says, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing." What product was being advertised? Once again, this is from the early 70s. It was a commercial that is still recognizable today. It says, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing." What product was being advertised?
Was it a Burger King Whopper?
Joanne, what's your guess? I'm not going to give you a hint one way or another who's right or who's wrong. So you can either agree or disagree.
I feel like I should know this one, but I don't think I'm right. But I'm going to guess.
I mean, it's just like, I'm thinking pizza, but I will go with the Whopper too.
It was Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
Solving the problem of having eaten the whole thing. That's what it was. All right. Good one.
All right.
It's the dilemma of eating the whole thing.
In 1972, astronaut Eugene Cernan earned the distinction of being the last person to accomplish this feat. What feat did he accomplish? Once again, in 1972, astronaut Eugene Cernan earned the distinction of being the last person to accomplish this feat. What feat did he accomplish?
I think I know this one, Joanne. You know this one?
Walking in space.
Wasn't he the last person to set foot on the moon? That's my guess.
Foot on the moon. He walked on the moon.
Last guy to walk on the moon.
And
Okay.
it's going to happen again very soon. All right, final question. There's always one Rockford question. All right. 3 men were credited with founding Rockford, although it took a whole bunch of people. But these 3 men get credit for officially founding Rockford in terms of building the city, buying the land, building buildings, and this and that. They were Thatcher Blake, Germanicus Kent, and this guy. And if you're both...
Louis Lemon?
No, actually, Louis Lemon was the one and only slave here in Rockford, and he got his freedom when he got to Rockford. He bought his freedom, essentially.
That was a good guess for me.
It was a very good guess, but he didn't help with...
I'm going to guess the guy's name was Guilford.
No, and I'm going to give you a hint, so you both get a mulligan. They named a village after him, and it's not Midway.
They named a village after him.
It was what built. They called it his name, his last name, Village.
His last name is Village?
Churchill.
Walford Village?
I know.
Okay, his name was Daniel Haight Village.
Oh,
which was absolutely hilarious. I live in Haight Village.
I and that's why whenever I hear that, I always correct people and say pronounce it Haft. because GH should say make an F noise.
Sure, it should.
H-A-I-G-H-T.
Sweet.
should be
Otherwise,
pronounced
you're-
Haft.
Otherwise, you're letting
Great.
at someone's joke, right?
Greg got a point today, I think.
Yeah, you got a point today.
I'll take the half a point. All right.
You
Well,
get, once again, half a trophy. I'm not breaking this one, though.
Don't break that one. Let's do this. Big number of the week. Our current race to 7 has a tie score. Our current race to 10 has a tie score at 7. And the big number of the week this week is 3 billion. That's a big number. The answer is crayons or copies. Crayons or copies. Tom has told me his answer, Joanne. So do you believe it's crayons or copies? 3, 2, 1, go.
Copies.
You're going with copies. All right. So only one of you is getting a point this week. Can you remember the last time you used a crayon?
Not long ago.
Last
I,
night with my granddaughter.
Were you making pictures of flowers to remind yourself of the sunshine, warm spring, or what were you coloring?
We were making a rainbow.
Rainbows. Okay.
well,
Which
remember,
is
I
very
tutor at
specific.
Flodine, so we use crayons quite a bit.
All
It
right.
has been a few weeks.
Well, the Crayola Crayon Company makes a lot of crayons, enough to circle the earth 6 times. That's about 3 billion crayons every single year. So congratulations, Tom. You're getting a point.
Oh,
It's now 8-7.
I thought you said
He wasn't
8 billion,
sure
like
that.
1 billion.
3 billion crayons every single year,
Okay.
pumped out by the Crayola Crayon Company. Napster is the other story for this week, you guys. Remember what Napster was?
Oh, yeah. Sean
25
Sean something. I forgot his name.
I forget the guy's Sean Fanning. Here we go. Sean Fanning, 25 years ago, debuted the music file sharing service called Napster. It was created by college student Sean Fanning, quickly gained popularity, making it easy for music enthusiasts to download copies of songs that were otherwise difficult to obtain. At the height of Napster's popularity, 80 million users were registered on the network. They, of course, got shut down after a successful court injunction. I think, what was the big band that...
Was it Pearl Jam?
Not Pearl Jam. It starts with an M.
Oh. Maroon
Why-
5?
No, for some reason, Megadeth is stuck in my head, but it's not Megadeth. It's Metallica.
Oh, Metallica. Okay.
Metallica really had a big problem with that because they were basically losing money, and other artists were too, by getting free distribution of these songs. They wanted you to actually have to buy them. Today, Napster is a paid streaming service. You can still get Napster as a paid service, but that was a big deal 25 years ago, and 80 million users at the top of its popularity. So anyway, Joanne, it's right there though. You're still right there. 8-7 on our next race to 10. We'll find out.
So
who wins
because
here
my
in the next few
kicker
weeks.
is so horrible, we had to go for a 2-point conversion. So that's where the 8 comes in.
All right. And all right, Joanne, any final thoughts before we let you go for next week?
Nope, I don't think so. Stay warm.
Stay warm.
Stay warm.
Next week, our guest will be Kira Carte. She's the director of the Superhero Center for Autism. They do awesome work here in the Rockford area at the Superhero Center for Autism. They've got a big event coming up that we're going to talk to Kira about next week here on the big show. So be sure and join us for that. And remember, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. Meet you back here next week for another Saturday morning.
Bye-bye, Joanne.
In
Bye-bye.
Crowd 815 podcast. Muscle memory almost caught me there. All right, Joanne. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now there goes Joanne.
By the
And
way,
let's-
Gregors, you said the big show. You owe Ed Sullivan's estate 12 cents.
Oh, forget that he said that. Nobody. There we
You just
go. All
interrupted
right.
yourself.
Transition into some
Okay.
Packer talk. Where'd my Packer logo go? Green Bay Packers all the
Green
way.
Bay Packers, the
I-
frozen tundra of
I think if
Lambeau
we were
Field.
both being completely honest, we probably, if you would have asked us last week at this time after the show is all done, that we probably were going to be talking about what a great season it was, looking forward to next year. I mean, I knew they had a chance against Dallas,
What was my
But
prediction?
yours was 31-23.
That's right. Green Bay.
Mine was 24-22 Green Bay. We were both
That's right.
right enough because they won.
Well, okay, so let's recap. Let's review. I don't have it in front of me. It's in the other room. I'm not going to go get it, but my magnificent seven. Green Bay, Dallas can't cover Green Bay's wide receivers. How many times were they open?
Unreal.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Unreal.
It was like a 24-hour 7-Eleven. It was amazing. The Dallas receivers, secondary, could not cover the Packer receivers. And here's the beauty of Jordan Love. And this will be part of what I'm talking about today with my pick six. It's all kind of football related, I guess.
All right.
Is that he found those open receivers. He found them. Tucker, Luke Musgrave on that one touchdown was so wide open. Jordan Love's like, really? Seriously? He flips it up to him. He had to wait for it. And he catches it and he runs it in 12 yards for a touchdown. Romeo Doubs opened a few times. Now Jordan Love did thread the needle. He
sure
thread
did.
the needle. Oh my God, he had 2 or 3 throws that were so Aaron Rodgers-like. And I hate the comparisons because Jordan Love is Jordan Love. But truth be told, he did learn a lot from Aaron Rodgers. Why? How could you not? But Aaron Rodgers may never admit this, but he also learned a lot from Brett Favre. So the success of the Packers is largely due to creating a good winning environment, good drafting, and taking the necessary precautions to not get your quarterback killed. The other element
needs to get GM of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
His last 2 drafts, absolutely crazy, amazing success stories.
You've got 6 of your receivers, not Dobbs and not Watson, but you've got Malik Heath. You got Deontay Wicks. Deontay Wicks. You've got Jaden Reed. And you've got Tucker Kraft. You've got Luke Musgrave. And there's one more. Who am I missing? Whatever.
Was Malik Heath of draft or was it a pickup off free agency? I forget.
He could have been. That's my bad. I don't know on that one.
I saw those 2 lists this week and I was like, look at those last 2 draft classes for the Packers. They're all on almost every single one of them is on the team. They're still there. And that's an amazing thing to say.
Melton. That was the other one. And
yes.
Oh my God, he has come on. He's incredible. So the other thing that the Packers get credit for is drafting smart quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers was as smart as it gets. Jordan Love, I'm watching him come up to the line and he's like, this way. You move over here. You do this, you do that. And then there's 8 seconds on the clock, 7, 6, 5. And he's looking around like this. He goes, okay, here we go. And, hut, boom, with 1 second left. So that's very, very reminiscent of Aaron Rodgers.
He's got command. He's got command of the offense.
He has absolute
very
command.
Impressive.
I said last week, neutralize CD Lamb. CD Lamb didn't get most of his catches and yards and even a touchdown until late in the fourth quarter. We were up 48-16, buddy. 48-16. That was an absolute thrashing of the Dallas Cowboys. And I am not picking on the Cowboys. I think the Packers are just very, very good. Will they beat San Francisco?
That they may be a little overconfident after that. Hopefully they won't be. I don't think they will be, but that's my concern is after beating such a good team so badly like that. Okay.
Because it's San Francisco, I don't think they're going to be overconfident. I think there's a little bit of trepidation. Like, okay, we have to be even better than we were last week. And the way they were last week, holy cow.
Well, I tell you what I underestimated. I underestimated just how great Aaron Jones is going to be every time he plays in Texas. He loves playing in Texas. He loves playing in that stadium. I mean, we should have known he was going to score more than once. Who knew he was going to score 3 times?
Yeah. I agree. Oh. All right, so if you want, we can get on to, and by the way, Green Bay, in all facets of that game, took over and won in all facets. They will not do that against San Francisco. This will not be a blowout for Green Bay, but I also don't think it'll be a blowout for San Francisco. And I'm going to say it right now. I am not expecting the Packers to win. What this is my pick 6 of how they can win. If they do what's on this thing, and if San Francisco slips up a little bit, i.e. a couple of interceptions, the turnover battle will be huge. It will be huge. So here you go. The Niners, number one, the Niners secondary is good, but there are no real game changers. If the Packers receivers can get open, and if Jordan Love can get it to them, then look out. We said this last year. This is one of my, or last week. One of my points was that I don't think Dallas can cover the Packer wide receivers. And they couldn't. It wasn't even a contest.
The biggest reason they can't is why most teams can't. We don't have a WR1. We don't have a number one wide receiver on the Packers. They're all 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. You don't know who is the primary receiver. I completely agree. It's amazing. Christian Watson if he's healthy, but because he's not healthy. Remember, Christian Watson only had 1 catch last week. Jay Reed had 0 catches, 2 targets, 0 catches. What's really kind of amazing is now you have 2 guys. Because if you look at most NFL teams that are successful today, you've got 1 deep threat guy that you have to cover deep for, and that usually frees up the inside passing game. The Packers have Watson and Reed, both speed guys who you have to be respectful of their speed and think they might just fake you inside and go long, and you've got to protect it every single play. And that's what opens up Aaron Jones's running game. And And don't forget, you've got Dontavian Wicks. I call him Deontay, whatever. Dontavian Wicks. Yes. He's such a new name that, wow, they've got so many guys that can do some crazy stuff. All right, now, point number 2, and somebody may disagree with this. I don't care. I truly believe Jordan Love is better than Brock Purdy at quarterback. He's played like a veteran throughout most of the second half of the season. I don't care what he did in the middle part of the season. I don't care about Packer victory. I don't care. I keep hearing, well, you gave up 30 to Carolina. So what? Carolina was playing out of their rear ends. It was at home. Green Bay, look, it was a football game. Any given Sunday. But Jordan Love still played a good game in that game, too. They scored 33. Green Bay scored 33. Carolina scored 30. Also, remember, there were 2 touchdowns that were also gimme touchdowns toward the end. Green Bay was up 30-16 at one point in that game. 30-16. They had the game. Okay, so if anything, Green Bay is guilty of giving up garbage touchdowns, and I don't like that. They did it against the Cowboys. Or as my buddy called them, actually Bill Cash called them the cow pies. I love it. I thought it was hilarious. Thanks,
Bill. All right, so you could easily pin that on the defense, by the way, of what I'm saying with that Carolina one. You pin that one on the defense. That's not on Jordan Rodgers. He has 18 touchdowns and 1 pick since Thanksgiving. Okay, don't forget that stat. And he hasn't had one in the last 4 or 5 games. So number 3, speaking of the defense, I believe the way they've played recently means they've finally figured out Joe Barry's system. Right. I believe that today determines Barry's future with the Pack. I think they'll play hard for him. I do. I think they're going to play hard because I think they finally figured out what they're doing. In fact, I believe it was Tony Romo that said, it wasn't Tony Romo. It had to have been Greg Olsen because it was on Fox. He said, Green Bay has been switching from man-to-man to zone. Joe Barry's figuring it out. Okay, guys, we're going back to man-to-man. Oh, we're going back to zone. And this is what confused Dallas, and I'm not sure you're going to confuse San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan's pretty doggone good. But Dan Quinn, well, you know what? I'll get to Dan Quinn in a little bit. That's number 6. So I'll get back to Dan Quinn. Number 4, last week, they neutralized CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott didn't know which end was up. It won't be an easy test today because San Fran has many more weapons than Dallas. They've got Deebo Samuel. They've got Christian McCaffrey. They got George Kittle. They've got Brandon Ayuk. They've got a lot of
great weapons.
So this will. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm really. Once I get to talking, man,
hang in there.
Trivia. Oh, I'm hanging in there. A couple minutes left here. They got more weapons than Dallas. They'll have to play almost mistake-free defense to have a chance, and I think they'll do just that, or at least come very close. The key point here, I've got an asterisk by it. Jair Alexander. If he plays, we've got a real good chance. If he doesn't play, okay. Maybe things change because the Packers secondary is good. It's just not exceptional. So number 5, Brock Purdy, as we've seen, he can get rattled. Pressure on Purdy will get him. It should cause him to throw a couple of picks. It'll get him rattled. It'll
Who
get
gets
him
the
ready.
first sack? Van Ness, Preston Smith, or Kenny Clark?
Kenny Clark.
I think Kenny Clark. Yes, I would pick Kenny Clark to get the first sack, and hopefully they get about 5 this week.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome! And a couple of them lead to a couple of
4 or 5
interceptions.
tonight, I think seals the deal. And
I
I know you got one more point. My 2 points on this whole game would be sacking Brock Purdy. If we can get, honestly, more than 3, anything above 3 sacks, I think that's a key. And my other key to this game is tight ends for the Packers because of the deep threats you got with Watson and Reed. If those guys are covered the way that San Francisco is probably going to cover them, that's going to open up the inside passing game for Musgrave and Kraft. And those 2 guys combined for over 100 yards, we win this game.
I agree.
That's my 2 points.
I agree. And let me add to that on the tight end situation, Musgrave and Kraft. We're not even counting them when we're talking about the wide receivers.
I know.
We're not even counting them because Tucker Kraft was open all day. Luke Musgrave was so open, you couldn't find the closest person to him was a guy named Bob in row 3 of the stands. I mean, oh my God. I couldn't, you remember that. And that ball stayed in the air like a dying pigeon for a while. Musgrave gets it. And that's because Jordan Love had somebody in his face and he threw the ball. This is what Jordan Love does. He finds the open receiver. I've got 2 quarterbacks in mind that loved triple coverage, double coverage. One of them
He's
was
not afraid
Brett
to go to his
Favre.
third option.
He's not afraid to go to his third
And
or
because
fourth option.
because his offensive line has been protecting him enough, he's got time to get to the third option. That's been huge.
Let me bottom line it for you. You know why the Packers are where they are right now? Because Jordan Love is very smart. He is very, very smart. And that's what Aaron Rodgers is whatever. Very smart. You get a smart quarterback, Brock Purdy, smart quarterback. Tom Brady, smart quarterback. Joe Montana, smart quarterback. Steve Young, smart quarterback. I'm putting them in that only because they're smart quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He's got a long way to go to be at Montana, Young, Brady, Aaron Rodgers status, but he's got a really good start. And I think when he surveys and he moves up and he's just mobile enough, he's very mobile. He can get out of the way and boom, find his guy. And he's making accurate passes off of his back foot, underhand, sideways. I mean, oh my God, it's fun to watch.
So
Point number 6. Point number 6. Matt LaFleur is not very often outcoached. I can't remember a time this year when he was truly outcoached. He wasn't by Dan Campbell in the first game because that game, Detroit just had a mission. They were on a mission.
Yeah,
that was on the field, and that was a Joe Barry problem. The same thing with the Minnesota game, and the same thing with the there was one other game that the Tampa Bay game. Matt LaFleur was not outcoached by Todd Bowles. I guarantee you that. That was just on the field defense. So Matt LaFleur, not often outcoached. A loss doesn't always mean you were outcoached, just like I'm saying. It sometimes simply means your opponent was better than you on that day. Yes, they were better. All those losses, they were better than the Packers on that day. Since they put it together, there have not been very many teams better than the Packers over this last 5 or 6 game stretch. Even the Giants game and even the Carolina game, they won that one. And the Tampa Bay game. Not the Raiders. That's too far back. I'm talking about since they've kind of put it all together. Thanksgiving Day was when they really turned it up and was like, wow, I cannot believe we beat the Lions on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. Then they go and absolutely manhandle Minnesota. Now, granted, Minnesota was, that guy Bob in the third row, he was their quarterback. So, so it was.
Oh, I so want to see a Packers-Lions game next week. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I do too. Now, here's a couple final points on this. I don't think Shanahan is the genius that everyone thinks he is. He's gotten quarterbacks injured. RG3, he ruined his career. Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan was the head coach. Kyle was his offensive coordinator in Washington. Yeah. So either one or two, 1 and 1A, whoever got them injured. They got Kirk Cousins injured a number of times because of their schemes, because of their protections or lack thereof, because of the plays they call. Yeah, fine, Kurt, you're going to hit so-and-so over the middle. Never mind the fact that 2 300-pound linemen are going to crush you like an Oreo cookie. Never mind that. Just get
Kirk
the ball
is one
into their
tough
hands.
dude. Kirk is a tough cookie.
He is one of my absolute favorite human beings
He's a
and
great
quarterbacks
guy.
in the NFL. I wish
Yeah.
he didn't play for the Vikings. I wish he played for the Jets or for the Bengals or something. I don't know.
True.
I just can't stand
True.
the Vikings. But anyway, remember, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. The single greatest Super Bowl debacle of all time.
Oh
You
gosh, that was
remember,
horrible.
they were up 28-3, 25
28
points
to 3.
in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, as the third quarter turned into the fourth quarter. It was third quarter, though, when they started to come back. New England came back from 25 points down to beat Atlanta. I think Dan Quinn takes more heat for that than he should. He was the coach.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Shanahan deserves some of the heat for that as well. And so, by the way, Dan Quinn, he's touted as this great, wonderful Oz of football. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so
He's
sure.
one of those
His
leaders
defense,
of men type guys, but I think his concepts might be lacking.
Same thing with. Are we talking about Dan Campbell here? Yeah. Same thing. Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same, in my opinion. I agree. I watched, they kept showing pictures of Dan Quinn as he was standing up. He looked like he was 12 feet tall. He's standing up because the camera was way down here. And,
Right.
you know, he's pointing and he's like this and he's playing with his
He
mic
likes
and-
to stand while he's coaching during the game, where Joe Barry is usually sitting, so it's a little different perspective going on.
Yeah, most of the defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, most of them are sitting. It's just easier, I guess. But I like to stand. When I'm watching the Packer game, I like to stand. You know, and then the people
Mhm.
behind me at the bar are like, "Sit down, idiot!" No,
At certain
I'm
points,
kidding.
you just got to get on your feet. So I get that.
Sure.
I get that.
Well, it keeps the blood running. That's what it does. That's why people. That's why they have intermission at
That's
a
right.
at a thing. You get up, get the blood running, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee or whatever, and yeah.
One last reminder to everybody that this Thursday, In Crowd 815 Networking Group is at kicking off the 2024 year at DLT Stone Countertops on Stenstrom Road. We've got the In Crowd 815 signs up now, so you can see it there. You'll know where you're going to be entering on Thursday night, 5:30 to 7:30. Free drinks and bites. Bring your business cards. Bring a friend. You're going to meet and network with some great people. And there may or may not be some door prizes. I'm not sure about the door prize situation, but hey, free drinks and bites and some great people, and a nice way to kick off the new year with a great networking event on this Thursday, January 25th. All right. I think that wraps up the show for this week, my man.
One final thing. I need a prediction.
Here's what I'm predicting. If you have been paying attention, the spread is 9.5 points. They're giving the 49ers 9.5 points.
I don't care.
I believe the Packers cover the spread. I hope they win. I know they can win, but my prediction is they cover the spread, and it's going to be a mid-scoring game, something in the 20s. If I had to pick a score, I would pick a score of like 28-21 and give the edge to the Niners.
Okay, very good. I can't really disagree with that too much, but here's what I'm going to say. I agree with you wholeheartedly, mid-20s. The Niners are giving 9.5, which is absurd. That's absurd. It means they could win 30
you get
to
3
20.
for being the home team.
Yeah. And basically it's a touchdown with, if it's our kicker, it's a missed extra point. But anyway, I digress. Bring back Chester Markle, okay? So here's the thing. Some people go, Chester Markle, who's that? So here's my thing. I think Green Bay, if most of this comes true, Green Bay's going to win the game. They're going to. I've seen it before. We saw it in the Super Bowl where New England won their first Super Bowl. They absolutely stunned the Rams. The then St. Louis Rams. Nobody thought they were going to win that game, and they did. Nobody gave them credit. How many people said, "Oh, Green Bay can't beat Dallas"? There's no way. Good season. Cinderella turns into a pumpkin here now, and we were up 48-16. Again, I'm not picking on Cowboy fans or Cowboys. I'm not. I'm simply saying Green Bay may be a little better than we think. We know they're very well coached. Oh, and one other thing, I got to say this. You know why? And I've heard somebody say this. Mike Florio said this. By the way, he called Aaron Rodgers what did he call him? A delicate genius, a something entitled delicate genius. It was hilarious. I wrote it down and I don't have the sheet with me. Doggone it. It's in the other room. Anyway, I thought it was funny. He said, Matt LaFleur finally gets to coach this year because he has somebody that's listening to him and doing what he asks them to do.
Mm-hmm.
You now have a recipe for success. Can you imagine? Last year, Aaron Rodgers had a golden opportunity to get the Packers in the playoffs, and they could have had a magical run like what might be this year, what so far is. And Aaron Rodgers couldn't get it done. Why? Because he's like, oh, sorry, coach, I'm going to go with my play. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
That game against San Francisco 3 years ago in the NFC Championship game, it wasn't the NFC Championship game, but it was the precursor to it. They still had to go play Atlanta, I believe, or something. But anyway, that game, when he threw it to Devontae Adams, double covered, and then there was another guy waiting to pounce, he had Alan Lazard running right across the middle at the 40-yard line, and there was nobody except Bob in the third row that could have tackled him. Nobody. Ball game. It would have been 17-3 Green Bay with about 5 minutes left. Instead, they ended up punting, and that's when San Francisco blocked the punt, recovered in the end zone. Now it's 10-10.
It was bad.
And then we lose 13-10, I believe. It was unbelievable. Because Aaron Rodgers is selfish.
Score prediction for this week?
Score prediction for this week: Green Bay 27, San Francisco 23.
Ooh,
I hope
to
God I'm right. I don't. Okay, so I guess the question is, if you had a $100 bill and you could forget points, forget anything, and you could put it on one team or the other, who would you put it on? Knowing you're going to lose 100 if your team loses, would you put it on Green Bay or San Francisco?
I force my hand. I'd have to go with the Niners just to outright win.
I would too.
I hope I'm wrong.
I would too, because I don't feel confident enough that Green Bay can beat San Francisco, but I do feel confident that cover the spread I don't care about. I don't bet anyway. I couldn't care less. The spread does more damage to the NFL than anything else, I think, because it's all about the money. It's all about the betting. It really is. And they make spreads and they add and subtract a point here, a point and a half there to fit their narrative. So I have no use for that. I know a lot of people make good money off it, but a lot of people lose money off it too. So $100, I would have to say I'll take a chance. I'll hold my nose. I'll throw it on San Francisco, hoping I lose that $100. It's worth it to me. But I really do believe the Packers can win this game, and I really do believe it's more of a possibility than one might think.
All right,
they're a good football team. All right, buddy.
Well, here's hoping we're enjoying watching the game tonight.
I will be texting you.
You bet it. You bet.
I will be
right,
texting you.
Everybody, enjoy. We will catch up with you next week.
Bye-bye. Go Packers.